county breakouts. This is where you can find in news and stats. Under the tab news and stats, you'll also find this document. You should always have these around you or on your desk somewhere to make quick reference to. The people on the other end of the line won't see that you're reading notes, okay? Um, but you do want to have some areas in here that you can use for bullet points. People, customers, consumers like to digest stuff in little bites that are is only important towards them. So, know your audience a little bit, who you're talking to, buyers or sellers, so you can um, uh, regurgitate the information that's necessary and important towards them. Today, um, we're talking about this document you find in news and stats, and then you go to county breakouts, and you can select the county that you are interested in and working in, and begin to, you know, drill down into that market to learn it. It doesn't take that much time, but you can get an overall health of what a local or regional market or county market is by looking at this information. It's divided into three sections. The top section is a combined report of residential and condo. The middle section is residential, and the bottom section is condominium. And of course, I like to take people at 30,000 feet and then slowly, decrease the elevation until we come into landing and we're touching down right into their neighborhood, because that's what people only really care about, is what's in their neighborhood. However, they also want to know that you have a healthy knowledge of the market in general. And so this is one of those items I always take with me on appointments, as well as this one. I put them in my buyer and seller packets. I use them as tools, crutches, props, whatever you want to refer to them as, during my presentations as well. In each of these presentations, buyer or seller, I have a portion of that presentation where I introduce them to the markets they'll either be selling in or the market that they'll be buying in, to give them a full-throated voice of what it is they're going to be doing. In this report, the county breakouts, it's really, really awesome, because it'll give you an idea of what has happened last month. Again, these reports come out at the same time of the month that this report does. And this one came out on November 4th. Same with this. And it provides all the information from the previous month. So naturally, November, we're talking about October's information, but this is the latest and the greatest. And you can, talk about what is going on in certain areas of the county. Like we mentioned yesterday, as a whole, Snohomish County has 0.36 months of inventory. That's less than 2 weeks. There's less than 2 weeks of inventory. Now, this is really great information if you want to put together some informative dialogue for video, keeping customers informed. Jim has been really good at that as well. What's that one video email? The name is escaping me right now. But you can put together a video email and send it out once a month. Or if you have a video email, or you just want to record yourself and send it as a follow-up to buyers or sellers, maybe going, something like this, as a recording. Hey, Celine, just real quick, I wanted to say thank you for meeting with me the other day about selling your house. I just wanted to reinforce why now is a good time to sell that condo, because in all of Snohomish County, there is a quarter month of inventory. We haven't seen that low inventory in condos. A quarter of a month means there's only 1 week, 7 days of inventory for buyers. And in your particular area here in Marysville, believe it or not, there's not even less than 3 days of inventory available, like we discussed. The values have increased 21.6% year over year. So you are in a very good position to sell. Please let me know if you have any other questions. Bye for now, and make it a great day in real estate. Just spitting out a little bit of that stuff. I don't have to have it internalized. I just have it right here, and I know exactly how I want to say what I want to say to the audience that I'm suggesting this to. Now, when I'm presenting it, I will present it in such a manner that say, let's, I want to introduce you to the health of the market, and then we're going to bring it right down to your neck of the woods. So in the whole sense of the market, residential and condo, all of Snohomish County is looking at 0.36 months of inventory, and as a whole, in both condominium and residential markets combined, the median home sales price has increased 20.09% year over year, where now the average the median home sales price is $664,950 compared to last year of $549,994. So there's been an incredible increase in both one of those markets. Now, if we break it down specifically, and this is going to really shock you, okay? So I have an extra pair of socks in case this information blows the pair off that you have right now. The increase in median home sales price for residential property in all of Snohomish County last year for October was $579,972. So let's just round it up to $580,000. This year, the median home sales price for residential property in all of Snohomish County is $695,000. So over $100,000, the prices have increased. Now, if you're looking at homes down, residential properties down in South Snohomish County, the median home sales price is $914,000. You are curious about why now is a good time to list your property in North Snohomish County, because the median home sales price is $585,000. That is an incredible amount of savings that an individual can experience by traveling less than 20 miles north on I-5. The median home sales price reduces from $914,000 in South Snohomish County to $585,000. So you can see there's an economic migration for buyers looking for affordable payments, not homes, because I can't say these homes are necessarily affordable, but they are able to purchase based upon how much they can afford per month. So buyers, and these are the types of dialogues that I have with people, and it really begins to set you apart. And then you take the information and then wrap it back around to their motivation about why now is a good time to do something versus waiting. We talk about really, last year to this year. There's some really interesting facts and stats in here. It just absolutely blows you away if you take a little bit of time and digest some of this stuff. Condominiums in Area 6 and in Area 760 increased 33.45%. That's a massive increase for condos in Area 760. The inventory, there were 17 new listings and 25 sales last month. Here in the upper north Snohomish County, last month they sold the brand new listings, 207 new listings, and 234 sales in that same month. It's incredible. There is just so much activity going on, and you can go and describe this to your customers and drill it down to their neighborhood. Now, following this, we go to InfoSparks. So I start with this, give them a quick overview of the last 18 years and a little bit of how history can repeat itself by looking over the last few years. Even so, if you want to look at year 2020, if you examine the numbers in year 2020, that's a hot election year, okay? We are in the midst of a pandemic. The Johnson & Johnson and Moderna vaccinations were just, finishing up with the previous administration's efforts for warp speed to get those vaccinations out. They weren't even fully out, but yet we had a record year over the last 18 months during the height of the pandemic and during a hotly contested election. You would think that this activity would decrease before the election and perhaps even decrease with the introduction of the new administration. It has not. So you have to understand and be able to articulate that. Why are people still buying in today's market? It's driven by affordability on payment, not necessarily price. And that is as a result of the low interest rates. Any questions? Questions, thoughts, comments, hallucinations?
And the WFH evolution. It
And
is work from home. It has
excellent.
changed. It has really changed the dynamic of our workforce. The COVID has from those people working in a skyscraper all cramped in a cubicle farm. And that has really afforded the opportunity. This gigantic wave of buyers now can be virtual, and the idea of living in cramped condo spaces and in these skyscrapers and urban living has now forced them to rethink that, and hence the tidal wave of growth in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I um I nerd out on this stuff. I get really excited about this information. Um, Now, sometimes your buyers and sellers' eyes will glaze over when you're going over numbers and percentages and all this stuff. So I don't spend a lot of time necessarily in here, but I want to be able to demonstrate that I have a pretty healthy understanding of what's going on in a regional area, what's going on within a smaller regional area, and happy Wednesday, and then bring it right down to their neck of the woods and demonstrate what's going on. Um, does everyone know how to get this document? You should. It's in the MLS.
I was going to say something that
Yeah.
this information has helped me before in door knocking. When I studied this and went over it, just so I had something to talk about when conversation kind of dies down, you can
Mhm.
say something that picks it back up. And funny enough, it's actually worked on one of the few door knocking leads that I've transferred into a sale, just
Mhm.
because I had something to say. And when it gets awkward and you don't know what to say, that's usually when they walk away or you walk away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just to keep in mind, I mentioned this earlier, and I want to remind everybody again because we have a good story. I'm going to ask somebody here on the screen to share here in just a minute. If this person still wants to share the story, Douglas, in just a bit, but break it down into bullet points. Have some bullet point. In other words, to say talking points, have some talking points that are easily digestible, that are impactful and meaningful. Sometimes the shock and awe, you know, is really what grabs the person's attention, and you can speak deeper into that. It's like a headline. If it bleeds, it leads. If it bleeds, it reads. So come out with something like it's really, really crazy. I bet you would have never known that there's only about 5 days worth of inventory for condos in the North Snohomish area. 5 days. Yeah, less than 5 days of inventory. They're like, what? Yeah. So if you want to target, sellers in that category, Um, great. If you have people in your database, in your downline, your past clients, and you can say, if you are thinking about selling a condo, now is the
I can
perfect
hear that
time, and
in
here's
here.
why. Uh, Lots of information here. So there's never anything that you are not left with something to say. There's always something to say. And you can find that right here in this dialogue on this document and in this document too. But maybe try to make sure to always wrap it back around to what's important to them, or it's just going to be useless information if it doesn't change them or transform them in some way, shape, or form. There's going to be a test. There's going to be a pop quiz after this as well. Okay. So I mentioned this earlier, and here's the pop quiz. How much inventory is available in Snohomish County, residential and condo?
A week and a half.
0.36.
Oh yeah, 0.36. Sorry.
0.36. And there's less than a quarter of inventory, 0.24 months of inventory for condominiums in Snohomish County. JR?
Isn't 0.36 like a week and a half?
Yeah. Yeah.
Todd just wanted to tell me that I'm wrong.
I didn't say that. I said 0.36, so that's good. It's the same. Yeah, there's a week and a half of inventory. That's fantastic. Good job with that. Sometimes when you describe, hey, the median home sales prices have increased, for example, in one area in Snohomish County, in area 770, it jumped 26.78% from last year. The median home sales price is $566,750 to $718,000 in 1 year. There's been a 26% increase. Now, thinking about waiting is not a financially smart position or strategy to put yourself in. I'm not going to break a lease, or I want to wait till interest rates go down, or I want to wait till the market goes down. Sometimes a little education helps realign that thinking. If you have the ability to act, waiting is a strategy that will end up costing you more. And I'm just not saying that. Here's the statistics and the data and the history to back up what I'm saying. So it really helps move people. We had a really great occurrence that happened over this weekend. This person had an open house on Saturday, showed it to a buyer. And Douglas, could you share within about 5 to 7 minutes what quickly transpired on Saturday, and then what happened to you overnight, and then what developed and occurred on Sunday as a result?
Yeah, it was a real learning experience. And Saturday did an open house. It was an open house from another agency. I found him on the MLS. It was a vacant home. Touched base with the broker. She agreed to let me do an open house. Great gal. Anyway, Saturday I was there, and I had a client come through, and maybe shame on me for not drilling down far enough. Typically when people come in, they say that they have an agent. I kind of leave them alone, and that turned out to be a mistake. Anyway, another client came through, and we talked for an hour. They were sold. They were down. He was going to call me back in 3 hours and put in an offer. And maybe I didn't make it clear enough that I was a buyer's broker and not a listing broker. But anyway, he in fact went back and put in an offer within 2 hours, and I missed the sale. Simply because I didn't drill down and ask and ask for the close. I didn't ask for the sale. He was going to call me back, so maybe he misled me a little bit. Maybe I was naive enough to not understand. But anyway, he knew I represented the buyer. I was a buyer's broker, and he said he was pre-approved for a loan. He liked the idea, but he wanted to go back home, and he'd call me. And he had my information. I made sure he had my number. But anyway, I kind of chased that car. I caught that car, and I didn't get that information. Anyway, he put in a lowball offer, and the listing agent said, "Hey, give me the names of the other folks that came through with their agents, and so that I can call them and let them know a low ball offer came in, and if they put in an offer at asking, we'd probably accept it. Well, shame on me. I didn't have that information to give to the listing agent, because when they said that they had an agent, I didn't ask who's your agent, what's your name, and I didn't write it down. And I felt like I did a disservice to that agent, because had we had that information, we could have called those people back, and maybe it might not have helped me get a deal, but it would have helped her get a deal, because I was helping represent her. Anyway, so I kind of realized that I'd made a mistake. Sunday comes along, and we had two couples come through, and then a family came through, a Vietnamese family come through. A little difficult to understand with the language barrier. They looked around, they really liked the house, and they said, well, we like the house, whatever. And so I wanted, and from the experience the day before, I said, well, let's get you checked in and registered. And they registered in. I got all the name, address, the email, phone number. And I go, are you working with an agent? And he goes, yeah, yes, I'm working with an agent. So I was like, well, after yesterday, what's your agent's name so that I can write this down? And he goes, well, I don't know his name. I go, well, then you don't have an agent. And if you're going to put in an offer, you're going to talk to me today. And so they looked around some more. Mom was there, dad was there, brother, cousin was there. Everybody liked it. Yeah. And so they're walking around, and then they said, well, we like the house. And anyway, they kind of scuttled out the door, and they walked around the house once, and they were literally getting in the car. They were getting in the car, and I said, well, wait a minute before you go. Do you like this house? Would you like to put in an offer on this house? And they go, yeah, we would. And I'm like, well, then get back up here and let me get your information. And now I'm the dog who caught the car, and I didn't know what the hell to do with it. I didn't have a form to fill out, I didn't know what to collect. So I got the name, address, phone number, email, social security numbers, earnest money. Forgot to get waiver of the inspection and things like this. So thank God Todd answered the phone, because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know how to fill out the paperwork, and I didn't understand what I needed. So literally asking for the deal really opened my eyes. I feel so much more confident in talking with these folks. Hi, how you doing? Are you represented? If you're represented, what's your agent's name? If we have a price reduction, we want to be able to contact you. Normally when they said they had an agent, I would have just left them alone. But after the experience the day before, I was like, well, maybe, because the owner was very motivated. Thursday they did a price drop from $670 to $634, $35,000 price drop. So they're very motivated to sell. So I felt like I had to get that information on Sunday, so that if there was a price drop, we could contact those agents with the people who came through. And as soon as the guy said, oh yeah, I have an agent, and I go, what's your agent's name? And I was going to write it down on the registration sheet. And he said, I don't know. I said, then you don't have an agent. I said, if you're going to put in an offer, you'll put in an offer with me. And so I didn't ask for the sale then. We walked around the house, we answered all the questions. Mom and dad loved it. Thank God for Danny, my partner, because this is a Vietnamese person. He don't speak English. I mean, the cousin spoke English and played interpreter. And then, my partner, Danny, ended up getting him on the phone, telling him that we needed the $20,000 for the earnest money and such, which I'm going to go pick up today. But anyway, bottom line is that drill down, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for the deal. I'm just over this hurdle now. I feel so much more confident in my ability, to ask for the sale. Because normally I was just him hawing. You know, I've done about a half a dozen, 10 open houses, and I felt like a tour guide. You know, they're coming in. They say they have an agent. You know, or if they don't have an agent, I'm showing sinks and toilets, and you know, that's not why they're there. I'm there to ask questions to close that sale, and I just, you know, after I got kind of stabbed in the back with that deal from Saturday, putting in an offer through another agent, I was pissed, and so I wanted to make sure that anybody I talked to on Sunday, you know, I drilled them down, I committed them, and you know, it's amazing by asking the questions. I mean, I didn't offend anybody. I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. You know, they were like, well, yeah. And I said, well, you know, it was just great because they were literally getting in the car, and I put my head back out and I go, well, you know, what'd you think of the house? Oh, we like it. We think we'd like to have it. And I'm like, well, then you come back up here and let's fill out some paperwork and let me get your information so I can put in an offer. And, you know, got their name, address, wigged out, called Todd. We put in an offer, and I had a great relationship with this other broker from another firm. Wonderful gal. She knew it was my first deal. She was willing to work with me, and she helped me answer all my questions. She told me exactly what it would take to win the sale, because the deal that blew up on me the day before, they lowballed the offer, and she didn't want to accept it. And then they were doing some kind of counter thing over here, and she goes, I hate that agent, and I hate that buyer. You know, if you come in at 640 and you come in with waiving the inspection, I guarantee you that's the deal, and we'll accept it. So she told me exactly what it would take to get the deal. So anyway, that's exactly what we did. We submitted the offer with what she said would work. They accepted it. I mean, we started this. I toured them at like 2:00 on Sunday, and by 9:00 that night, we had mutual acceptance.
So, Doug, what I get out of that is you're developing and you're strengthening the heart that's already within you of that champion. You have the heart of the champion. It is amazing. You do have that heart of that champion. What you're doing is you're learning how to use that muscle now. You got your, excuse my French, everybody, you got your fucking ass kicked on Saturday. Okay, you did. You got your ass kicked. You got punched in the fucking nose. And you got back up. You put the gloves back on. You got back in the ring and you said, so what? And the guy that punched you on Saturday, you knocked his freaking ass out on Sunday in round 2. Okay? So congratulations. That is such a strong story of survivorship and commitment and dedication. That, you know, it's great that you got the deal. That's wonderful. We should celebrate that. But think about how much stronger you are now.
Yes.
That is amazing.
And I really feel like I took a big step forward.
Yeah, you did.
You know, understanding the process.
You did.
Not fearing the result or the answer. I just really feel so much more confident today. I mean, I've already started asking for other open houses this weekend.
And Douglas, for me, in the first row, I get to watch this. I'm in the first row. I get to watch this, and it inspires me. That inspires me, Doug. Okay, because I get to see this from the front row, and it just gives me more hope. Because we all experience our own bloody noses from time to time. And hearing stories like that, man, I tell you, good for you. And thank you for sharing that, Doug.
Absolutely. Very
all
inspirational.
Right. Well done, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So great. Congrats. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Well, there it is. You have some of this information. You know where to grab that. You know where to grab that. We're all inspired by Doug's story. Thank you so much for building yourself up in this time. And if there's anything you need throughout the day, we're all here together collectively. Please reach out to us. And by the way, we have some exciting news that we're going to be sharing here very shortly. One, I haven't told anybody yet.
Not even me?
Okay. Not even you, my friend.
Wow.
And you are going to like this as well. I'm going to make the announcement. I want to say it right now. I'm so terrible at this stuff. No, I'm going to say it at the office meeting. And by the way, I already have approval from my boss, Rochelle. Okay, so yeah.
Super important.
That helps.
Okay, see you all later. Make it a great day in real estate.